What's poppin', party people? We got new updates on GPT 5.6 today. You see this tweet from Nick. Basically, it looks like the US government will decide who gets access to GPT 5.6. So it has been released already, but it's only going to a select number of people. And it can't be launched without approvals from other agencies, which is pretty interesting. So who knows what's going to happen there, but it looks like due to the Fable 5 setup, this is all going to change. And because Fable 5 got taken down, we'll now be switching to a situation where AI models, particularly frontier ones, will be approved before people can actually use them. Now, maybe that'll change when it's, tested more. But basically right now we're looking at a slow, staggered rollout of GPT 5.6. OpenAI has agreed to this as well due to, the concerns around new frontier AI models, which is pretty wild when you think about it. Might mean the end of getting access to the best models. Who knows? So we'll see what happens next. And also, what's going to happen to Fable 5? Fable 5 probably going to go down the same route, right? I saw yesterday there were people talking about Fable 5 getting approved before you can use it as well. So you can see here another quote from Leo. GPT 5.6 launched for OpenAI enterprise partners for testing ahead of the wide launch. So maybe there'll be a wide launch once it's been tested. The ETA for the wide launch is around the second week of July, so mid-July. And there's also going to be a max reasoning effort introduced for the 5.6 series. Who knows what's going to happen next, but it looks like basically, things are going to have to be approved before people get access. Here we go here. Bud Run. Let's get this show on the road. Randall, let's go. Who else is watching today? But yeah, I'm just going to start coding out some new stuff into the Agent OS. Let's go. Sheena is here too. Welcome, Sheena. Let's break this down. So, Berner says, bro, I'm confused with Hermes, OpenClaw, and Claude. I mean, number one, if you're confused, I would just focus on one at a time. So, for example, if I had a choice between Hermes, OpenClaw, and Claude, and I was feeling confused, I would just focus on Claude because it's the smoothest and easiest to figure out. And then what's the specific problem you're facing? Let us know more details so we can help you. Yeah, I covered a tutorial on that yesterday on web design with Claude. But yeah, there's some little tweaks you can make to Claude to improve its web design skills. If we check out this website, this is one that we've built out, and it's pretty nice. Yeah, you should definitely check that out for sure. I don't think I did. But I can add a new guide on that today if you want. If that's useful for you, we can set that up. What's popping? Every time I use Codex, it just ran out of tokens, like pretty much straight away. So I was just like, right, I'm not going to use that anymore. And also, it was a little bit buggy. Like even, for example, the designs that it creates just seem to all look the same. If you DM me the problems you're having, or post them inside the AI Profit Board community, we can help you. Nice. All right, I'll get that set up later today. Yeah, Z code is okay. I mean, we've got GLM 5.2 built into the agent operating system. So if we need to build stuff, we can use the CLI over here. And it can create some pretty nice stuff, as you can see, right? How big is the model? Nice, we got something like that here. So you can see it like so. We have everything in one place. It's inside the AI profit boredom if you want it. So it's like very similar to what you're talking about. So we've actually got something called Hermes Jarvis, which you can see over here. Hermes Oracle. I think you'd like that setup a lot. Actually, to be honest, I'd recommend, if you're struggling with this, I know you said you were struggling with Claude and OpenClaw and Hermes, build something like this. You can get our setup inside the AI profit boredom. Thank you. Yeah, so the way that we do SEO is we have this set up over here, this is the SEO section. And so what we can do is we can look at our Google Search Console data over the last 7 days or over the last 28 days. We analyze what's working and we analyze which keywords we're getting a lot of impressions for, but not really ranking for. And then we create new pages around that because we know, okay, Google is showing us already, we just need to create a specialized page for it. And then we can generate and deploy the content from there. And then we've got a full skill for it as well. It's all inside the AI profit boredom if you want to get the skill and the setup for this SEO tool. It's not on GitHub. The Agent OS is inside the AI profit boredom. It's just kind of like a nice little gift that we give to AI profit boredom members on top of the community just to help them. You can get it, link in the comments description, or just go to the aiprofitboredom.com. I think just something small would work. Usually when we test something that's above 15 gigabytes, doesn't work very nicely. Unless you think it'll definitely work, but I just don't want to slow down the Mac. Let's do it. Create a guide on it too. publish the latest ones. Include screenshots, break down each framework, show examples, talk about the connection between OMI, Obsidian, and the Agent OS, so that all our agents and CLIs plugged in there use Obsidian memory. And this helps us quickly find memories from before and also remember and organize everything. And talk about the loop we have where basically our chat's logged to Obsidian and then Obsidian trains all our agents. So it's a loop that just keeps improving. Information attached on the infinite context engine was set up. talk people through the Obsidian Memory Galaxy 2. Should be very visual as a guide. Baba, if you DM me or send a message or send a screenshot inside the community, we can take a look here. add links to the blogs at the bottom so like people can easily navigate it, and then also add a section at the top where people can quickly navigate back to all the articles by category, etc. That way it's easier to navigate and easier to crawl. Update your skills so you remember to do this each time. I actually didn't sign up for SubQ because I was like, well, if they've got nothing to show, and if there's benchmarks but there's no proof, it's kind of like, well, why would I sign up for that? I kind of felt like it might be, like they're just trying to build the list. So that's why I didn't sign up. I looked at it and I was like, well, there's no concrete behind it, nothing concrete behind it that I could see. But as soon as it actually starts working, and as soon as I actually see people getting results of it and showing off what they're doing, then I'll check it out. But for now, I won't, simply because it's like there's so much I can test. I might as well focus on the stuff that's actually ready to test and we can actually get access to. Thank you. Have a good day. Back in a sec. Going to run through the latest GPT 5.6 release in a second. Yeah, going to run through that in a second. Could be quite tricky. I don't know if we're entering like a new era of AI where, the average person doesn't really get access to it. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, wow. On if looks pretty good. Awesome. Can you make sure our local agent Kanban runs with this nicely? And also the local engine section, plus anything else that's running locally. It seems to be pretty good. So GPT 5.6 is here, but not for everyone. And that's what I'm going to talk about today with the new release of GPT 5.6, plus what's going to happen and whether we're entering a new era where essentially you have to be approved for AI models before you can actually get access to it. So right now, the US government apparently has actually asked OpenAI to stagger the release of GPT 5.6. And this is obviously after the whole Fable 5 incident, where Fable 5 literally got shut down and taken down after like 3 days of being released, as powerful it was. And so what we're seeing here is an approval by customer situation. And here's exactly what's happening right now. So essentially, you can see the article here from Axios, right? And it says Trump administration asks OpenAI to limit next model release, which is pretty wild. So essentially, what's going on here is there's a staggered rollout of GPT 5.6. Now, whether it will get rolled out to everyone eventually, who knows? They're also looking at a 2027 IPO, as you can see in this article by Silicon Angle. And essentially, the rollout is going to be for people and just a small group of partners rather than for the whole public. And so what's happening basically is like Washington are now reviewing frontier artificial level intelligence models before they actually ship widely. Pretty wild stuff. So this was disclosed by CEO Sam Altman during a staff question and answer session on Wednesday, as detailed in a report by The Information, which you can see right here. And so essentially, this means that people have to be approved. It's getting rolled out to a small group of people. And due to the Fable 5 situation, it seems like we're rolling into an era where frontier models aren't available for everyone. They're basically going to go out to small partners at first, and then maybe once they've been, fully tested, then potentially everyone gets access. Another rumor is that maybe in the future with frontier models, you have to apply and be approved to use them before you can actually get access to them. But either way, this is pretty well. Bear in mind as well, if you look at, for example, China, you got GLM 5.2 and Kimi K 2.7 that both came out, and they're both pretty powerful. I mean, especially GLM 5.2, it's a setup where essentially you've got a frontier level model, but the weights are open. It's an open source project. Like if you have even if you have a super powerful setup, you can actually run it locally for free, which is pretty crazy in itself. So if you look at this situation, it's like, okay, well, Chinese models are open source and they're getting at the point where they're at the same level or even potentially in the future better than stuff like Claude Opus 4.8. And then in the US, you're looking at frontier models that are being blocked or being staggered in terms of their rollout or just not available to everyone in the future. So it's a weird sort of situation we're getting into. You can see in this tweet by Stephanie Palazzolo. For AI companies on the verge of releasing cutting edge new AI models, there's a new normal in the wake of Trump's administration's showdown with Anthropic. So essentially, during a Q&A session with OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman, the company would only release its model in a limited preview to a small group of partners. And this has never really happened before, to be honest. Like there's been some security models that come out, and you've seen that with Mythos as well. But this is really interesting. There's never been a situation like this. And there's two things that have happened recently. So Fable 5 obviously got shut down after 3 days, which has never happened before. And then these models are being rolled out to just small groups of testers, probably security companies, I would imagine. So essentially, during an OpenAI memo reported by Silicon Angle on the 25th of June, the government would be approving access customer by customer during this preview period. Now, there is a wider rollout that's hoped for a couple of weeks later. So we could be looking at like mid-July when everyone gets access to to GPT 5.6, but who knows what's going to happen next. Also, Altman apparently he made it clear that he isn't happy about it long term. Apparently, in the memo, this is what's being reported. This has not been confirmed by OpenAI publicly. He said the company has said this is not our preferred long-term model and that they'd work toward a more sustainable approach for future releases. So if you look at this, how a gated launch actually works is it gets built, then it gets vetted, then it gets approved one customer at a time, and then there would be a wider release a couple of weeks later. And this is really the first time a US model launch has a queue. So we're used to AI launches being instant and global. A new model drops, and within hours, everyone's testing it. That's a rhythm the whole industry has previously run on. But GPT 5.6 would break that rhythm. So for the first time, a major US model is shipping behind a managed line. And also, the bigger worry isn't really about this one single launch. It's really that it's a precedent, right? Because if new models are signed off on a customer by customer basis, that might become the template in the future. So, for example, you might be looking at the next models like that, or the next one after that, or from every single lab, especially in the US. Someone actually, Zach, I think he mentioned thanks to Dario, this is why it's happening. But I don't think it's his decision, right? I think for him personally, he probably wants to release his models. You know, he's a CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodi. I don't think it's his decision. Probably Anthropic, they want to roll out these models to everyone, but it's just a case that there's a new way and an old way, right? And this is a new way. Also, you might say, well, this is just for enterprise stuff, but really it affects the timeline that you plan around. So the old assumption that the best model is just one click away the day after it launches, that is a bad assumption now. And you know, if your work or if your progress depends on the same day access to the newest model, you're relying on stuff that you can't control. I'll talk about the best way around that in a second as well. So if we look at this situation, Fable 5 was taken down, and then we are looking at a staggered release on the 25th of June. Mid-July is when Altman's hoping for a wider release if the customer by customer review goes smoothly. So if we look at this situation, you know, you've got Anthropic Mythos, that's been pulled. You got Fable 5, that is pulled as well. Nobody has access to that, as far as I'm aware, publicly. And then OpenAI GPT 5.6 is now staggered. But you've got Chinese models that are being released and they're totally open. And so if you look at the trend line, it's like a year ago, frontier models launched open to the world. Now, the 3 newest US frontier launches have all shipped with some kind of gate. And GPT 5.6 is the first where this has to be signed off user by user. Now, the thing that I would say here is like, I don't know about you, but for me personally, I used to really look forward to the new model drops, test them out, get started ASAP. But what I've actually started doing recently is just using an agent OS system like this, where basically it doesn't matter what model comes out. It doesn't matter what gets blocked, what gets deleted, what I can't access, and what does get released. Because as soon as something good comes out, we plug it into the agent operating system and we build great systems around that. So, for example, with Sakana Fugu, that can achieve Fable 5 level intelligence. We've already tested it relentlessly this week with 42 different tests. Really powerful stuff. And essentially, this means that even if something gets pulled or we can't access the latest model, it's not a big deal, right? Because we can build systems and create automations for all the stuff I work on day to day without having to rely on new frontier stuff. And so I would say now, like a gated launch, like GPT 5.6, it doesn't really phase me, and I wouldn't let it phase you either. So agents can run on whatever is reachable today. That's how I set this up. And I can swap models in and out in seconds. So when GPT 5.6 opens up, I plug it in. But until now, we've got amazing systems that are pretty mind blowing in themselves anyway, right? It doesn't matter. So, for example, if we need to automate SEO, we've got that ready to go. If we need to automate videos, well, we can do that in one click with these really powerful systems, as you can see right here, right? We've even, for example, built out the Hermes agent oracle this week that can pull in the latest news, create content around it, publish blogs straight to my website about it. And that's more powerful than anything else I've seen like released publicly recently. So that's the way that I look at it. And here's the way that I would recommend for you to look at it, right? The old way versus the new way. The old way is like one model, fingers crossed, and you wire every workflow to one model, wait for a launch day, hope you get access, refresh your waitlist, check if your region is enabled for it. And when access changes, your work breaks, or one thing that changes, for example, like Fable 5 getting taken down, can stall the whole pipeline. Now with this new system, you can build your agents on a system, not a single model. You run on whatever model is reachable right now. You swap models in seconds when access changes, and you plug GPT 5.6 in the day you actually get it. And so a gate on one model just means you route to another. And the result is your work never stops, gate or no gate. So that's the way that I would look at it. Now, if you want a setup that survives any launch, the agent operating system inside the Airpuff boardroom connects Claude OpenClaw and Hermes into one dashboard with shared memory. So your agents run on whatever model is reachable right now, and you can swap models without rebuilding anything. And for example, if GPT 5.6 is gated, that's not going to stop your work. It just slots in when we eventually get it. And inside there, you get the full Agent OS zip, every prompt, the memory setup, the dashboard, 4 live coaching calls a week with operators running this in production, daily tutorials as launches like GPT 5.6 happen, and a 30-day roadmap to set the whole system up step by step. Plus a community of 3,700 members across many different countries, online 24/7, and a member map to connect with people near you. So let's look at some of the assumptions that are wrong now. So people think like the newest model is going to get released to everyone. No, not at all anymore. Other people think, well, whoever has the best model wins. But honestly, the model you can't access doesn't help you. The operator with a working system on a good enough model beats the one waiting in line for the best one. And other people say, well, this is an enterprise problem, not mine. But honestly, you need great systems as well, because if you don't, stuff like this is going to stall your progress. And the model isn't the moat, the system is. So if you step back from GPT 5.6 for a second, strip away everything that we've heard in terms of the rumors and the memos, everything else, models get gated, models get pulled, models change their pricing, their limits, their access rules, sometimes overnight, sometimes in a few hours. But the thing that doesn't change is the system around the model, your memory, your prompts, your agents, your workflows. That's the part that improves every day, and it works on whatever model you point at. So that's why I recommend having an Agent OS system, as you can see. And that's the whole idea behind the Agent OS. It's not just use this one model, it's build the system once and run it on whatever model you can reach. So when GPT 5.6 finally does open up, you don't have to rebuild anything. You can just point your system at it and keep going. I'll show you an example. So for example, we've got Hermes running here, and we can use it for outreach. We can use it for lead generation. We have, for example, systems where we can voice activate it, and it can pretty much automate everything that I need to anyway, right? Then, for example, we have OpenClaw, we have Claude. So, for example, when Hermes overtook OpenClaw, we just start using Hermes instead. If Claude takes down Fable 5, no problem. We can use GLM 5.2. If, for example, Gemini CLI got taken down, which it did this month, no problem. We can switch to anti-gravity CLI. And so you see how it's anti-fragile, and it doesn't matter what comes out next. You can just easily adapt to it in minutes. So what you now know, you know that GPT 5.6 is gated and that it won't be coming out for everyone. You know the approval system for this is like customer by customer, and it's signed off for people during the preview. You know that this may be the new normal. Like, just be aware of that. This may be the new model in the future. And that Anthropic actually got it way worse, right? Anthropic, they can't even release this to anyone, let alone to the public or like a customer by customer basis. So GPT 5.6 actually have it better than Anthropic in some ways. But the fix for all of this is a system. So build on an agent operating system, run on any reachable model, swap things in and out freely, and then it doesn't matter what comes out and what's not available. Models get gated, models get pulled, but the system around them is what's yours. So if you want to get our system, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Also got like a memory galaxy inside here. As you can see, we've got Sakana Fugu Ultra, which achieves Fable 5 level intelligence. Anyway, we have Fusion, which is another way of getting Fable 5 level intelligence at any time you want. And then also, for example, if GPT 5.6 comes out, no problem. We've got Codex built in already. So whatever comes out next, we can build our systems around it and just make sure we're improving every day either way. So if you want to get that, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Inside the community, you can ask questions, get help and support in real time. Inside the classroom, you can get access to all my best trainings. If you're a complete beginner, you can go from beginner to expert with this 6-week masterclass, as you can see right here. You can also direct message me and ask the community any questions you have too. Inside the daily tutorials, you get new daily tutorials on what is actually available, and I test it with a video tutorial and give you a full guide as well. And then inside the Agent OS section, you can see that we update this daily. We have a video tutorial on how to use it. We have the last update date, and if you want the zip file to install it, you can get it inside the resources there. Plus, we have weekly coaching calls, so 4 weekly coaching calls a week where you can ask questions, get help in real time, etc. And inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents like this. So feel free to get that link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Thanks for watching. Web agency says, I see a pattern repeating itself. New models come out with marginal increases in capabilities, but large increases in tokens. That's interesting. Yeah, I saw that with GPT 5.6. I think it does use more tokens from everything that I read about it. So yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. That makes sense to me. However, what I will say is if you look at GLM 5.2 and stuff like that, like wow, that was a huge step up, like a ridiculous step up. Can you add more interesting builds with this? And also, can you show screenshots from the agent OS using the local models and just make it way more interesting? I think the stuff that you built is okay, but it's too basic. It should be more interesting. I think the guide should be more interesting too. Just remember inside your guide skill that you need to generate like a hero image and also images throughout. So update your skill so you remember to do that with ChatGPT Image 2.0, as well as the diagrams, right? You just want to make it look really visual and nice. So update your skill so you don't forget that again. If you're watching and you have any questions, by the way, feel free to ask. No, no, we're still here. Don't worry. Today, I'm going to show you a powerful system combining Obsidian and Claude and all of my AI agents together to make sure that your agents never forget anything ever again. So, for example, if I say, what did I work on last week directly inside Claude, as you can see right here, it basically breaks down what we've worked on. Now, what's interesting here is if you look at the working directory and the memory inside Claude directly, it struggles to find that. Right, it's not very good at remembering the details. It's not very good at understanding, okay, what was your broader activity outside of this conversation? However, what it can do with the system that we've set up is that day by day it understands exactly what we've worked on because we have a powerful system called Obsidian and a memory galaxy that pulls this information in. And this is all updated automatically with my AI agents. So if we have a look at this system here, every single one of the stars inside this memory galaxy is a new memory. And the stars that shine the brightest are the ones that have been updated the most recently. So if we click on any of these stars, we can pull up the memories and everything that we've done recently. We can see that we have all these different guides and useful notes here, and I didn't create any of them. Right now, also the great thing about this is you can actually use a free system to do this, and I'll break down exactly how that works in a second. So if we have a look at the recap here, it breaks down day by day exactly what we worked on in a lot of detail because it can easily pull in from the recent Obsidian notes that we have with the Vault and everything else. So it's really powerful for doing this. And it means that you can plug it into Claude, you could have it inside Hermes, you can get super personalized suggestions, and you never need to worry about retraining your agents on context again. So this is a powerful system that you can use to automate and build anything. And if you're wondering, okay, how does this work step by step? Well, this is what I call the infinite context engine. And we have our memories that are plugged inside this galaxy here. We have our goals, our daily tasks, OMI, projects, and areas. So let me talk you through this. And basically, you have one memory every agent shares. Your chats train your vault trains your agents, and it's a loop that gets smarter forever as a memory system. So, for example, if we open up Obsidian over here, you can see this is our Obsidian memory, and every single one of these dots is just a markdown file that's linked together naturally, color coordinated, tagged properly as well, and then it's all based around me. So this system knows my goals, it knows my memories, it knows what I'm working on, and everything else. And that's the power of this. So how do we set this up step by step? Let me walk you through it. So essentially here, and this is something I call the blank slate problem, is that imagine you hired an assistant and every morning they woke up and remembered nothing about you. You explain your whole life again, your name, your business, your goals, your clients, every single day. That's what using AI agents feels like without a good memory system. So your AI is a genius, but it's got amnesia, and every chat you start is from zero. Now, the infinite context engine actually breaks that cycle for good. You might say as well, this sounds complicated and technical on this whole system here, but it's actually not. And I'll tell you why. Because literally all this is a bunch of folders with different text files inside them. That's it. All Obsidian is just markdown files connected together, organized properly, and everything is set up in a place where you have lists of notes together and they're organized properly. So there's three free tools you can use with one shared brain. So most people think of these as like three separate apps. They're not, they're one memory pipeline. So number one, we've got OMI. OMI is a free app in the background. And what I've set this up to do is basically export and take notes on me daily. So we can export to Obsidian right here. But if we go back to our home, this basically takes notes on me day to day. So you can see here it's got memories, it understands exactly what I'm working on, it updates daily, and it's basically a free app in the background that listens to my microphone, watches my screen, and quietly writes down what I do, say, and care about all day. And it holds about 3,000 memories, as you can see inside this system here. Now, step number two is store. So you can capture with Omi. And the great thing about capturing with Omi is it's completely working in the background. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to spend any energy or time building this. It's all automatic. Then we have store. So step number two is Obsidian. And this is just a free notes app. It's a filing cabinet on your machine. So Omi exports into it. Your agents log into it. It's just a folder of text files so anything can read from it. So when we're looking at this system here, you can see that this is Obsidian, but visualized in the same way that agents would look at it. So it's a visual brain. It's my second brain, essentially. And that is plugged into Claude, or OpenClaw, or Hermes, or Antigravity. All of our agents that you can see are built into our agent operating system. And I'll come on to that in a second. So, for example, if we have a look at our memories over here and we go to recent, you can see that this was just updated 13 minutes ago because we have the interaction between myself and my AI agents. And this is updated like hourly, as you can see. So even, for example, when it runs scheduled tasks, this is all set up nicely inside here too. And it actually auto consolidates from our Claude code sessions on a daily basis too, which is super useful. So this links to our agent operating system. Now, this is a free tool because I built it for free. You know, you can build your own. You can go into Claude and you can say, okay, like build out my, build out a mission control dashboard, link all my agents together. That's basically what I did. I mean, these days I probably spend about 3 to 4 hours building new cool stuff into this, but the memory system doesn't take any time at all. That's just running automatically in the background. And so we have Claude, OpenClaw, Hermes, and every CLI all pointed at the same vault from Obsidian. Every one of them wakes up already knowing about me with one memory across every agent. And you might say, well, this only works with one tool, not all of mine. Actually, no, because the vault is just text files that any AI can read, because any AI can read a file path with your memories. So it's one setup, and then you got Claude, OpenClaw, Hermes, Codex, every tool with the same brain. And so this is the infinite context engine that I want to walk you through. With 4 layers and a loop. So it's a paradigm. You stop training your AI every morning, you start letting AI train itself on you, and it runs in 4 layers. And the fifth that makes it infinite. So step number one is using Omi to capture and record our thoughts daily. Step number two is you organize it so it all becomes clean, structured notes. And you can just ask your agents, hey, organize this and tag it properly. Use something called Para, which is a way of organizing notes locally so that your agents know exactly who you are, what you're working on, what you want to achieve, etc. And then it stores it. So Obsidian holds the vault on your own machine. It's private, it's yours, it's local. You don't need to have cloud or subscription. You can get an MCP if you want to link it to VPS or anything like that. But it's basically a living knowledge base about you that grows every single day. And then from there, deploy. So every agent reads a vault and starts every conversation already knowing you. Hermes, OpenClaw, Claude, Code, any CLI one file path with full context. And finally, the loop. And here's why it's infinite. So every new chat logs back into the vault. So the vault trains the agents fill the vault, and tomorrow is smarter than today. And that runs on forever, which is pretty insane. It's also just quite fun to see your memories and to look back at what you've worked on and see the progress that you've made over time and have it all organized in a beautiful system like this. It's absolutely amazing. And most memories are set up one way. So you feed the AI, it reads, and that stops improving the day you stop typing. But the infinite context engine is a loop. So every chat your agents have gets written back into Obsidian automatically with one file per day. So the vault doesn't just store what you tell it, it stores what your agents do. Then the next agent reads that and gets better and logs more. And the vault gets richer. Your work trains your vault. Your vault trains your agents round and round like a smarter loop. And that's one of the main concerns that I see a lot of people say is like, I'll have to update the memory manually every day. You won't touch it. So if you set this up, Omi captures it, the agents log it, Obsidian stores it all on their own with zero manual work after setup. That's the whole point of the loop. As you can see, it's working right here. Now, if we talk about this Galaxy system, as you can see, So this is a memory page inside the agent operating system, and every note is a star. Every link between notes is a line of light. Mine has thousands of notes inside it and it grows a little every single day. And the stars that you've touched most recently glow the brightest. So you see how there's some stars that are more brighter than others? That's because they're more recent. So it's not just pretty, it's how you can find things. And if you need a memory from like 3 weeks ago, you don't have to dig through folders. You just search the galaxy or follow the links from one star to the next. And your agents do the exact same thing when they answer you. So if we actually look over here as well, we can search through our memories. And then we've got the graph over here as well with the galaxy. And this is what organized really looks like. It's not a list, it's a living map of everything you know and everything you've worked on. Now, some people say, my note's already a mess. This won't work. But that's the whole point. The galaxy connects the mess for you. So these links pull related notes together so you can see the threads you forgot were there. So it's like, okay, you got Omi, you got your chats, you got your notes, that goes into Obsidian, and then that plugs into Hermes, Claude, OpenClaw, and every CLI that you have. And everything writes in and everything reads out. And so if you look at the old way versus the new way in terms of the system, well, without a memory, you re-explain who you are every session. It might remember little bits and bobs about you, but it's not going to be super detailed in this way. And it's not going to be very useful in this way either. And then the old way as well is like pasting the same context into every tool. So if I go to ChatGPT directly or to Claude directly, it's not going to have the detail that my Obsidian Vault has. Then you get generic answers that don't even fit your business, and each AI tool is starting from scratch. And then you forget what you decided last week. That is a mess. So that's why you really need a memory system in this, but you also need one that runs on a loop so you don't have to organize it yourself. And just notice that every agent wakes up already knowing you. You got one vault, answers built on your real goals and clients. You can find any past memory in seconds, and the loop makes it smarter every single day. And the cool thing about this as well is like when you're using it, if you've got like clients or separate projects that you're running on, no problem. Because, for example, for us, what we have is different things going on, and these are all interlinked. So, for example, we have Goldie Agency over here, we have the AR Profit Bottom over here, we have our funnel strategies over here, but it's all linked. However, it's separated by folders and notes, which is super useful. Now, you also might say, well, this sounds expensive. No, because Omi is free, Obsidian is free, the agents are free. The only thing it costs you is the 20 minutes that you use to set it up once. That's it. And that's basically the whole system. Now, if you want a 30-day roadmap for setting it up, if you want a full video tutorial that shows you exactly how to set this up and also our agent operating system, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. So you can get the infinite context engine built for you. And you can basically wire this yourself with what I've shown you today, or get the whole thing done inside the agent operating system with the whole setup in the memory galaxy. And you can connect that all to one vault. So you get the full agent operating system, the memory loop, the galaxy. You get Omi and Obsidian setup walkthroughs, step by step on videos, coaching calls where I set up the memory vault with you, a room of 3,800 business owners running this stack, and the prompts, SOPs, and member map for your city. So if you want to get the Agent OS, it's inside the classroom with the AI Profit Boardroom. Right here, we update it daily, and we've got a zip file to quickly install it. And then also we have over here the infinite context engine. And with the infinite context engine, you get a video tutorial, a step-by-step guide, a 30-day roadmap on how to use it, and a really detailed map of how to basically implement that. Also, inside the community, you can ask me questions, you can ask the community any questions you have. We always have people online ready to help you 24/7. So you get help and support whenever you need it. You can connect with awesome people inside the map as well, which is great. And then also inside the classroom, you get access to all my best trainings. You get 4 weekly coaching calls where you can share your screen, ask questions in real time. And this is all available inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the arprofitboardroom.com. Thanks for watching. 50 character says, Julian, what are the best free local LLMs? So it depends on your setup. So what I've used in the past, for example, that works really well. Well, one thing I'm testing today is something called Ornith. and we're testing out the results. So that'll be interesting to see. If you've got a really good setup, then you can use something like Quen 3.6. Local models in general, not that good. I'll be 100% honest with you, but it depends on your setup. Like, I've got a Mac Studio. Let me pull this up. It's a Mac Studio, M4 Max, 36GB memory. It's not that great for running local models. But for me, if you want to get around that, well, you can run like free APIs and that sort of thing. Today, we are building out a new AI SEO system. We're working on using Ornith, which is a new local model. I'm going to run through some of the new updates inside the Agent OS today as well. I've never heard of cascading LLMs before. I'll be 100% honest with you. What is that? That's interesting. MLX. What is that? I've heard of it, but I can't think where. Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. I have to try that out. Thank you. Yeah, it looks good. Just Googled it now. Yeah. We've got that inside the agent OS. So basically, we have a system where our agents loop together, and then one can quality control the other one, and they just loop round until the job is done. You can use /goal as well with Hermes agent. That's another way to do it. Or, /goal is available, I think, inside Claude and Codex as well. So you can use that too. But yeah, if you want like multiple agents working together, you can use Hermes agent, get multiple profiles with different LLMs and different APIs, and then they can work together and quality control and loop round with the work being done. Yes, that's it. So with /goal, you can change the API on the judge. Basically, how it works is you have the agent that's doing the work, and then you have the judge. So you can have a different API for the agent doing the work versus the agent that's the judge, and then they can work together in a loop until the job is done. We've got tutorials on that inside the AI Profit Warning. What do you mean, sorry? So today we're going to run through the latest questions I've had on the agent operating system, which you can see we've built out here. This is a powerful system you can use to basically build and automate anything, link all your agents together. You can use it, for example, for lead generation and outreach campaigns. You can voice control it and voice activate it with Hermes Jarvis. We've even got a memory galaxy so that all of our agents here know exactly what we're working on, what we're building. We've got Kanban boards where we can orchestrate agents. We have, for example, a local AI agent engine here where we can build and automate anything that we want locally as well. And so today, what I'm going to show you is some of the latest questions we've had on the agent operating system and then answer them because I know if people have these questions inside the AI profit boardroom, then you probably have these questions about building agent operating systems yourself. So let's get straight into it. So first question we had was about Codex. So Rob was saying, brand new here, just signed up, watching videos, but can you use with the Agent OS your Codex subscription and how can you use it, right? And can you use it with Codex too? So we do have a Codex section over here. So we have the chat, and then you've got the gold mode and the workspace and all your previous sessions saved as well. So it's easy to see everything that you've built. So that's one way of using it. And then you've got Hermes as well. Now, with Hermes, you can use GPT 5.5 with Codex login, and you can use that for generating images as well. So that way, you can use the power of GPT 5.5. You also get access to the studio where you could generate images, videos as well using GPT 5.5. And then you can also plug it into, for example, like OpenClaw or anything you want. As well as that, actually, what happened recently, this is a new update that just dropped out a couple of days ago, is there's a plugin for Codex inside Claude Code, which means that you can actually use Codex inside Claude Code to power it up too. So there's like 4 different ways you can use it here. So just to recap, yes, you can, and welcome here. So you can use Codex in multiple ways inside the Agent OS. Method number 1 is you can plug it into Hermes Agent. Number 2 is you can generate images with OpenClaw and Hermes Agent 2 using your Codex OAuth. You can also use Codex inside the Codex tab of the Agent OS. And additionally, Claude just dropped a plugin where you can use Codex inside Claude Code as well. So you have a good post here from North as well, who's talking about how it's better to use systems rather than focus on prompts. And this is 100% it, right? So he was saying basically, the real skill is building repeatable systems. and improving what's already tested and having the patience to debug them properly when a new update arrives. This is 100% it. So, for example, like GPT 5.6 just dropped, but it's only available to certain people. But the good thing is, it doesn't even impact any of our workflows anyway, because we can swap in the models, swap them out. So, for example, as well, when Sakana Fugu dropped earlier this week, we could plug it straight into our systems and build some amazing stuff with it. And we could only do that because we focus on systems, not models. So, I think that's the long term play here. Browser says the best. Julian, you have one of the best trainings and one of the most accessible AI experts out there, which is pretty nice. Number one, thank you so much. And I think number two, like the whole point of building this community is to share and learn and grow together. So the only reason that I've developed these amazing systems, for example, like the Agent OS, is because I have a great community of people who encourage me, and everyone who watches stuff like this, they help and inspire me. So the only reason that I've achieved what I have today, which is probably quite little in itself, but we've got a great community and a fantastic group of people. The only reason that I'm here is because of all the people that help me inside the community. It's a good question. So the question is like Quen 3.6 versus Quen Agent World. Has anyone tested it, etc.? And I was looking at this announcement yesterday for Quen Agent World. The interesting thing is I can see a lot of people talking about it, but I can't see anyone building with it. That was pretty funny. When I saw the announcement, I was like, this sounds amazing, but what have people actually built with it? So from what I've seen, I haven't seen anyone like build anything interesting with Agent World yet. So it kind of seems more like theory than people actually building with it directly. But I know that Quen 3.6 particularly is a really good local model if you have a great setup. Nacho was asking about how to connect Codex and Claude Code with a local LLM and how to do that. So there's two ways I know. I know the Codex basically have their own documentation on how to connect local models, as you can see right here. So you can change the model like so, and you can change the local environment from the config.toml file, and you can change the model around like that. And then another option that you can have is you can use Olama. Now, GLM 5.2 on Olama is cloud-based, but you can basically run this in one click with Claude Code or, for example, Codex as well. So there's two options there. Davide was talking about how GLM 5.2 is a genius. And I found the same thing. I mean, he talks about a use case that he's used to do this, but I've found like GLM 5.2 is really good. I mean, like it's definitely up there, very comparable to something like Opus 4.8. And we actually ranked all the models, and GLM 5.2 was right up there in terms of how it performs. So you can see, for example, on Goldie Bench, like I personally test it and I show everything that I tested and I host it so you can try it yourself. But some of the stuff we built with this was absolutely amazing. Like, and when we tested it side by side versus other models, for example, like Claude Opus 4.8, it was comparable. Like it was actually really, really good. So for example, if we go to the compare section on Goldie Bench, you can actually compare the models side by side to see how they perform. And GLM 5.2 was like, if we have a look here, like compared to something like Kimi K2.7, is miles ahead. So this is, for example, the output from GLM 5.2. This is the output from Kimi K2.7. And obviously, Kimi K2.7 wasn't anywhere near as good. So from all of my tests so far, it's right up there and it's actually outperforming on some of my tests versus something like Opus 4.8. And also something to bear in mind is like if you look at the release of GPT 5.6, which is gated according to rumors, and also if you look at the release of Fable 5 that got taken down, like it's amazing that GLM 5.2 is open and they've published open weights for it. Whereas, for example, if you're using GPT 5.6, well, you can't get access to it. Or Fable 5, you could get access to it for 3 days, but now you can't again. And we don't know when it's back out. So it's interesting to see these open models overtaking frontier models as well. This is a good one. So Ben is talking about the Agent OS. He's like, thanks for the support. Your responses alone have saved me so much time on what we've done so far. But he's at a crossroads with his Hermes setup. So he said he's built so much that he can use it, but he's failing to give it to his team so that they have something they can use, right? So there's a few ways you could organize this. So, for example, he's talking about the agent OS and like how he could give that to his team, but he doesn't know how to simplify it or to make sure that they don't get distracted or hit bugs, etc. So this is a really good question. What I would recommend is that you could create a simplified version if you don't want them to be distracted. So for example, you could have the agent OS, but you simplify it down to like the workflows your team actually needs and use, and then you quality control their work just to make sure they're only using it in the right way. So for example, like you don't need to give them access to all the CLIs, you don't need to give them access to all the workflows inside the self section, you could just have like one CLI, for example, Hermes, and then you could have a couple of workflows that each of your team members focuses on. Or you could say, okay, only use this section inside my agent OS and ignore everything else. The other option is that you could write an SOP for them so that when they use the agent OS, they just follow those instructions and rinse and repeat those step by step. That way, they don't look or even get distracted by everything. They just focus on the step by step commands you've given them. And you could just write that up in a Google Doc. Could be like 5 steps. And then from there, they only use that part of the agent OS and everything is simple for them. When you actually set up the agent OS for your team as well, what you can do with the version you give to your team is with the agent you've used to set it up, you can say, okay, remove this or remove that, etc. There's actually a settings section in the top left where you can hide certain parts of it and then save it. So, for example, we can hide OpenClaw, then click the tick button once we've changed the settings, and that will hide it and simplify the UI as well. So I've got a good question from Stefan here. And Stefan was asking, like, how to make videos to promote his SaaS tool. And so he has everything recorded, no problem doing a voiceover, but he's like stuck on the what's the quickest way to put these together phase, right? So, for example, if it's a quick, like 30-second to do, how to do section. So, there's a couple of options you could do here. Number one, you could use something like the video agent inside the agent OS. That's an option. If you don't want to set that all up, and I'll just show you an example here. So you can see, for example, if we look at this video, this was fully put together with AI, with the avatar, with the B-roll, with the script, the research, etc. That all automates it inside the agent OS. If you've got some footage, you just need to put it together. You can use a skill like Hyperframes and Hermes Agent as well, or Claude as well. So if you just want to, for example, edit a certain part of it, you can get Hermes or Claude with the Remotion skill, which is free and open source. And then you can train your agents to actually edit the videos for you and put them together. We actually have a full training right here on how to do that. And the cool thing is you can give the agent the footage that you have and then just ask it to edit the certain parts for you and put it together. So this is a good question. What would we use for each setting? So basically, this member is asking, I'm curious what cloud models you're currently using and for which specific tasks. So mainly interested in setups that stay within the Olama ecosystem whenever possible. So I think if you were only using Olama, obviously that limits your options like by quite a lot. I would just focus on probably GLM 5.2, right? If I'm looking through all the models and I want to simplify, I'm just going with GLM 5.2 because it's the closest you have to frontier level inside the ecosystem of Olama. Minimax M3 is good, but it's older. Kimi K2.7 is still good, but it's not as good as GLM 5.2. So if you have a choice out of all these, just go with GLM 5.2 if you want to stick with Olama. And I think that's probably the best model you can opt with. Then you can plug it into Hermes, into OpenClaw, into Claude, into FreeClaw Code, whatever you want. And also the good thing about this is that you get used to using that one single model, you master it, and that way you get better outputs every time you use it. So we got a question from Shane here, and he's basically asking like, how do you keep the Agent OS updated, right? So we share our Agent OS system with all members inside the AI Profit Room. How do you keep it updated? How do you get the latest versions with the new features and everything else? So if you've got an older version, you need to update it. It's inside the zip file of the new version. So you can see the last update is 26th of June. We've got the resources right here. And basically with that, you can easily get access to this. So you can use the update MD file inside the zip whenever you want to install new features. Bear in mind, like you don't need to install all of them. You can just pick and choose the ones you like. Davide is asking, there's a skill called remember with Claude. Do I use it personally? I actually skipped this. So what I do is I just use my Obsidian Vault with the memory galaxy, and then I plug that into all my agents. And then, for example, if I ask Claude something like, what did we recently work on, or what did we work on last week, it can recall the dates, and it recalls a lot of data because it looks through our Obsidian Vault. So that's what I use instead to make sure that we give Claude a really good memory. And we have a full system on that inside the infinite context engine module that shows you exactly how to do it. So another question here, which is Hermes profiles for the team, right? And basically, Siraf is running into multiple issues whilst creating profiles in Hermes, and it prompted him to create multiple gateway instances. And he's creating a Hermes installation for his whole team. And his goal is to have a shared brain for the company, which all the team has access to. So for setting up agent profiles, we have a full guide on it as well, which I'll send to you. But also, what could be pretty interesting for the shared brain, you could set up Obsidian and then just have a shared Obsidian vault across your whole team. And that way, they can all access the same notes, the same memory, the same system, but they can update and improve it for you as well. And that way, you have a shared knowledge vault across your team. If you want your team to have access to it remotely, you can actually create a login with Obsidian, share it with your team, and they can all share the memory together. Another option is that you can connect it all together with an MCP so that your Hermes agent has access to the Obsidian MCP. But I think just having a login in the cloud for Obsidian would be a much simpler option. And we've got a full training on that here. And that's basically every question answered. Boom shakalaka. All right. So we have answered all the questions on the Agent OS to get today. If you want to be able to ask me questions like this and I answer them for you in daily video tutorials like you've seen today, I answer all the questions personally inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So you can post a question there and then I'm happy to help. Inside the classroom, you get access to all of my new trainings, as you can see. And we have the agent operating system with a video tutorial last update date. You can get the zip file as well to install it. And that's all inside the classroom here, as you can see. And then we had new daily tutorials based on what's just dropped that's actually useful for you. And then inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls, get help and support whenever you need to. And inside the map, you can meet people in your local area from the community who are building with AI agents and building the Agent OS like you can see today. You also might be thinking, okay, this stuff sounds technical. Is it difficult? Is it easy to install, etc.? So I've set it up and I'm non-technical. Rick set up his agent operating system from the Profit Boardroom in like 30 minutes. You can see, for example, Raza is absolutely loving the community. And Mateo got his agent operating system set up pretty quickly. So I know that if so many people can set up their dashboard, and I can too, then everyone can win with this. And you don't need to be technical to get this set up. So hope to see you inside there. Link in the comments description, or just go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Let's see what questions we got here. For using Codex, yeah, you can just use your existing subscription to log into Hermes or into the Agent OS. You don't need to pay for the API. Is it necessary to set up Minimax for Hermes Jarvis? No, you can use whatever model you want. The main thing that you need for Hermes Jarvis is you want ChatGPT real-time API for that, right? So it responds quickly. Is Josua a good source? As far as I know, I mean, you always want to, but when you get advice from anyone, you always want to critique it and think for yourself, right? So, like, what I like to do is look at all the options, then analyze it based on my existing knowledge, and then from there I can understand, okay, is this useful or not? So that's what I would recommend looking at. Does the operating system community allow individuals like me? Of course, everyone's welcome. Hope to see you inside there. Here you go. Matt says, good morning, sir. What are we building today? So we are building out all sorts of cool stuff. We've already covered GPT 5.6, and we have already covered the memory galaxy and all the Q&As from the agent operating system. And then next up, we're going to be covering AI SEO with Claude Code and the agent operating system, or NIF, which is a new local model, and just running through the latest features that we've got inside the agent operating system as well. Is making websites with the Agent OS pretty easy? Yeah, I mean, you can just use Claude CLI or something like that. The good thing is if you create anything, then you can come back to it whenever you want. So if we look at this page that we've created with Claude, we can come back to that page whenever we want, and it's just ready to go. So that's another good thing about it. Coach in Tokyo, welcome here. First time posting, good to see you. Running Hermes Agent and want to vibe code with it using voice. So if you want to set up voice chat with an AI agent, I'd recommend check out the Minimax guide. This one here, we cover how to generate videos, images, and voice notes using Hermes Agent. So you could use that if you want. Or we also have a full setup guide on 11 Labs as well. So there's a full guide on Hermes Agent and 11 Labs. But if you struggle with anything, feel free to post inside the community or ask me any questions. Use Kimi. Claude has nothing on Kimi. Wow, big statement, but I like it. So on Obsidian, if I'm on Windows and don't have OMI, what is the best alternative? Do you have a structure? Yeah, so I use Para for the folder structure. And then for OMI, yeah, you can use, we've got a tutorial on it. Let me find it. Yeah, you can use this setup. So that's the one that you want to, and we've got a video tutorial on how to use it. But yeah, if you don't have OMI, you can use this instead. Or you can just get your agents to use Obsidian automatically. The timing on that was beautiful. Wow. Didn't mean to do that, but that was incredible. I should be a DJ. All right, we're gonna come on to local models in a sec. Yeah, see, you don't need any fancy tools. Right? If you're using Obsidian, absorbing past data, etc., you can just go to Claude, you can go to Hermes and say, okay, based on everything you know about me, organize it into a folder with markdown files and use Para systems. So Para um, is a way to organize files, right? You can just Google it, Para system. And if you actually tell your agents, like for example, Claude or Hermes, to use Para, it will automatically understand what it is and how to organize it. And that's how we organized our markdown files inside Obsidian. So this whole system right here is powered by Para. And you can ask Hermes agent, hey, based on the Para system, organize my Obsidian folder so that you've got every single memory and everything that's relevant into one beautiful system of files and folders. And it can do it for you. Graphify, I checked it out, but Graphify is really like just better for code, right? Like from what I saw, you wouldn't have like a whole Graphify system like this. You would have like a Graphify for like a code base or something like that, as far as I'm aware. When I tested out, it seemed more like it was for individual code bases than for like actually having a full second brain. Maybe I've got that wrong, but that's just what I saw when I was organizing it myself. It's the Agent OS. So that's pretty much this is where we organize everything together. We've got the mission control, all our systems ready to go. So this is really what, powers my home page and everything that I come back to with all my systems in one place. So today we're going to be looking at a new local model. It's called ORNIF 1.09b. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what I've built with it, how it works, etc., how it performs. And this has actually been pretty good, pretty responsive so far. It's doing pretty well on the benchmark. So you can see it's compared against Quen 3.5. So it's not like the newest version or the highest frontier level of AI. But for an AI model that runs locally, this is one of the best I've seen so far. And these local models are gradually getting better. So I want to walk you through the whole system. And you can run this on your Mac, you can run this on your PC. I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works step by step. We've already plugged it into our agent operating system. So if we go to the local section down here, we have ORNIF plugged into our local engine. This means we can run AI agents for free. We can run them locally. We can orchestrate them. We can build anything that we want. And we can also preview them directly inside the chat. So if we go to the preview section here, here's something that we just literally built with ORNIF, and it's pretty fast and it's pretty responsive. Now, if you're wondering, okay, what's my setup? So I'm running this on a Mac Studio. Honestly, when I run, like even Gemma 4, if I run Gemma 4 on a Mac Studio, not very good. This is much faster and much more reliable. So if you go inside the chat here, we're like, okay, build out a habit tracker, for example, like this, and we can just give it a quick task. It's now going to start thinking locally using ORNIF 9b. And the cool thing about this as well, that it's running locally, it's free to use, it's easy to set up, etc. And then what it does is it will plan it out. So you can see here, it's going to start planning out the habit tracker, and then it's going to start coding it out, right? So it's going to write it in HTML. Now, what we can do from there, once that's finished, is we'll actually be able to preview it, and it will be built into my workspace. So everything that we've previously created with local models, we've got inside this list. We can open them up. We can come back to them. We can open up in a full tab. We can get the HTML for each creation. We can preview new stuff here. And then we've got the build section here. And it's just building out. It seems very responsive, and it actually seems to create decent stuff, which is good as well. So if we look at the benchmarks, it is out. So it's outperforming Quen 3.5 on some benchmarks as well, which is pretty impressive in itself. So if we have a look here, this is Quen 3.59b, which is down here, and it's nowhere near, right? Then we have Quen 3.5 35b. Now this is a 9b model, so it's a lot smaller, but it's outperforming models that are 35b, which is pretty impressive. It's also outperforming by quite a long way Gemma 4 on benchmarks. So overall, this is really impressive as a model. So if we look at terminal bench or NIF versus Quen 3.5 35b, it's outperforming Quen 3.5 9b, nowhere near. Gemma 4 12b, which just got dropped recently, nowhere near. And then Gemma 4 31b is on a similar level, but still not as good. And so on these benchmarks, it's doing pretty well as well. But I always like to test out myself and just see how it performs. And you can see that it's actually doing a pretty good job. It's pretty fast when we use it, and it's easy to use. We'll come back to what we created in a second, and I'll show you what we've built. So it's kind of like it's near frontier level. Obviously, the newest version of Quen is 3.7. But this works really fast. It's free, it's private, it's easy to use. So if you look at like the normal cloud way, you got your machine coding out, then it goes to the internet, to their servers, and then you also pay per API. With this system, the Pocket Frontier way, which is what I'm going to show you in a second, the model lives here on your machine. Nothing leaves. It works offline. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're on a plane or something, you can still use it. It doesn't cost anything to use. It's free. And then it's completely like sort of sandboxed inside your machine as well, which is great as well. So we've got a 9.5 gigabyte model building real apps locally, privately, and for free, and nothing leaves the machine. And it can run whilst the internet's off. It can run on a flight. It still works. And it's performing really well on the benchmarks. So if we have a look as well, we've now got the preview ready to go. I also like this system because then we can come back to everything we've built. We can see the full conversation history. And if you want to preview what we just built, we can open it up like so. We can add a new model here. So test, for example, and that's added inside our habits. We have a weekly completion section. It's easy to use as well. Right? And then we can also open this up in a new tab. It's all organized. We can download the HTML, and it's saved inside our workspace as well. It's pretty cool. Now, I'm not gonna say like it's I mean, it's definitely not up there with like Claude Opus 4.8 or something like that. But as a local free model that's fast and responsive and just ready to go whenever I need it, that's pretty cool. And this all plugs into our agent operating system. So, for example, what I could do is I could use that local model and I could use it with Paperclip and build a whole team of agents. I could use it inside Hermes, and then we could use Hermes directly with this as well. So we actually set up a separate agent profile for Ornith, and this is basically Hermes but plugged into a local model. So we can use Hermes with Ornith as a local model here as well, which means that you can use it agentically and you can build cool stuff with it as well. And then you can get free access to it via Hugging Face. You can also use this on LM Studio too. So LM Studio is a good way to use it. But yeah, it's basically a full family of open source LLMs built specifically for agentic coding. Now you have 9B dense, 31B dense, 35B MOE, 397B MOE. So it's a full parameter range. This is a tweet by Roundtable Space, as you can see. And it works with Hermes directly. It's a little bit slow on Hermes, because it is an agentic model running locally, but still, it actually works and you can use Hermes agent for free with it. We built and tested out a bunch of stuff with it just to see what it's like. As you can see, it's pretty cool. Like, you can build some interesting things. You might also say, like, does all this stuff work first time? Most of it worked first time. Some of it like didn't work first time when we were testing it out. So that's just something to be aware of as well. Is like it's with local models, usually what you're getting is like kind of like almost like last year's model, if that makes sense. So if you look at the benchmarks of like frontier level models last year, that's typically what you're getting with local models this year. So it still means you can build something good, but is it perfect? I wouldn't say so. It's just something that helps you run free models. And also it depends on your setup as well. Now, the cool thing is with our local engine over here is it actually finds its own bugs. So if we go to the local engine section and we go to the local setup here, basically when we're building out with this, it'll write the app or whatever we ask it to build with a single prompt. It'll run it, find bugs, and then fix itself. So you can fix it directly inside there. And the great thing about this is if you look at the old way, everything you were doing goes to a cloud, you pay per API, you get rate limits, it's not private, and if you have no internet, you can't use it. With the new way, the model lives on your machine, so nothing leaves. It's zero cost to use. There's no limits. Your data stays private, and it works with the Wi-Fi off. Now, you might say, okay, why not just use Claude for everything? Honestly, like Claude is a great model, and I still do use Claude for most things if I need speed. But if you're, for example, looking for a free way to use AI agents, or for example, you prefer to run privately offline, then this is a better way, right? You can't do that with Claude. So how does it work? Well, you just get the model, as you can see. Then you can wire it inside the agent operating system. You might also say, okay, isn't local setup too technical? It's just like a couple of commands, right? So these are the commands that you can run, and you can use it with LM Studio, and it's free to get on Hugging Space as well. The other cool thing is that we have a lot of systems inside the Agent OS. that you can plug into this. So, for example, you could use this with the local Hermes engine inside the Hermes tab. So we've got a separate profile for Ornith ready to go. Then you could also use it with the agent Kanban. So the agent Kanban is a local team of agents you can organize on a board like so. You can see what we've built out as a workspace. And this is a board of agents that just work with local models. So you can orchestrate your agents, have them working together and have them working for free. You could also use them inside the local chat section. And something else that we've set up recently is a loop engine. So what you could do with this system, for example, is you could use a local model like Ornith as the builder, and then you could have like a free API judging the work and loop it around. So that's another way to use this as well. So you see how the local model just plugs into many different workflows inside the agent OS. You got Hermes, agent Kanban, local chat, the loop judge, and even the video agent would be pretty interesting. It could write the scripts for your videos too. You might, so I mean, some limiting beliefs to cover here that might be holding you back on this. So, number one, people believe like powerful AI has to live in the cloud. You can run this locally and it can actually build stuff. You also might think, well, free means a worse model. That depends what you're comparing it to. If you're comparing it to like Fable 5, of course. But if you want something local that runs for free, well, this is a decent option. So if you want to get my setup with the Agent OS and all the systems we've built around local AI, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. Inside the community, you can ask questions, get help and support in real time. Inside the classroom, you can get access to all of my best trainings. We've got a lot of trainings on local models, and then you can get the Agent OS over here with a video tutorial on how to set up a full guide and step-by-step daily tutorials. Inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls, ask questions, and get help and support in real time. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area using local AI. We actually have one member, Daniel, who's, for example, like he's got a local setup. So there's a lot of people using local AI inside the community. He actually created a full AI avatar video using local AI, which is pretty insane. So, you can get some seriously good setups with local AI if you know how to. And there's a lot of people inside the community you can learn from on how to do that. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye bye. Are those HTML? Yeah, so the previews are inside the Agent OS, and then anything you create will be inside the Agent OS as well. Today, I'm going to show you how I rank number one in one click using AI SEO with Claude and the Agentic operating system that we've set up today. You can see, for example, this website is absolutely popping off. It's basically grown from zero to, let's have a look, 278 clicks per day with AI SEO. And here's another example. So this website is basically grown from nothing all the way up to 74 clicks per day using a similar sort of system, which I'll guide you through. And then you've got another example right here. So again, this website was at like 0 clicks a few months ago, and now it's at 28 clicks per day, and that's growing. And if you look at the trajectory of each of these websites, they're all growing massively since I started implementing a new system that I started working on back in April. So let me break down exactly how it works step by step, how to use it, and how you can use it too. So what we have essentially is this agent operating system, and all of the workflows that I work on day to day are inside this system. And this is all built with Claude. So every time I have a new idea or a new system or a new experiment I want to run with AI SEO, I build it into this agent operating system. So for example, recently what we actually did is we plugged in a keyword strategy where we can take any of our websites already ranking. We can look over the last 28 days. We can see what keywords we are ranking for but not getting any clicks for. And then we know, okay, we need to create a separate page for that particular keyword. So if we have a look, for example, and we scroll down the list and we see, okay, what are we getting impressions for, but not getting clicks for? So for example, like Hermes Agent Changelog, or for example, for Open Web UI Hermes, we could actually create a new page and use that topic. And then we can quickly generate content with the keyword and the case study ready to go and just generate 5 articles. And then we can deploy them to our website, as you can see right here. And it's a really powerful system. There's also a lot more that I've set up that I'll show you in a second. So something else that we've set up is something called the Oracle. And the Oracle is a powerful way to basically take the latest news headlines, which are refreshed every day because we have an agent that basically scans the latest news and looks at the latest news headlines and then gives us ideas. And then it consults the Oracle, right? So this is Hermes agent, and it can pull in the latest trending news that's just dropped. And it actually organizes it by which topic is the most trending and the most interesting. And then it categorizes it. So, for example, this topic is categorized as drama. And then what we've got here is the Oracle from Hermes. We can see when it was last updated. So it was consulted 3 hours ago. And we've got all of the published content that we've actually created for this particular website. Now, for publishing the content, it's really simple. It's just a one-click process. And this is all customized to me. So it actually talks about me, who I am inside the content, and it uses my case studies to come up with the content itself. So if we have a look, for example, and we're like, right, okay, well, if we have a look through this news and we see what's happening here, we've got, for example, OpenAI releasing GPT 5.5 Cyber, right? And we've already published a guide on that step by step with the news inside it directly as well. So if we go back to the latest news from the Oracle here, and we're scrolling through, we've got, for example, a news headline on Cursor training Composer 3. So that could be an example of what we create here. Now, it also automates the angle. So again, we want to create something unique, and we want to talk about what we're working on and then match that to the topic that we're going to create SEO content about. The same with, for example, like Sakana Fugu Ultra, right? We want to make sure that if we create any content, it's all got information gain, it's all tweaked to you and personalized to you. So when we create that content, you're not just like creating generic chat GPT fluff, you're creating something that's actually interesting, useful, and quality controlled. So if we have a look, for example, at this setup, what we can do is we can have a draft a social media post, but if you're doing SEO, you would just click on the publish to WordPress section here. And what this does is Hermes Oracle will log into my WordPress websites. It will write the content based on the latest topic, and it will actually embed the sources inside the content so that it references the latest news headline with proof as well. So it adds internal links, external links. It's personalized to me. It publishes the content directly to WordPress. And the other good thing about this as well is like, because you're using this system, you don't have to log into WordPress. And logging into WordPress, if you ever done it, it's like, wow, so distracting. So what I try and do is skip that process and just get my agents to do it for me. So that is method number one with the Oracle. And these are 3 different websites that we've got that I've showed you earlier. So they're all following the same trajectory, which is awesome. And the great thing about this is like before I was doing this and using this system, ranking a site meant me doing everything in order or getting a team to do it. And that means, like, for example, hunting for a topic, checking the keywords, writing the article, formatting it, logging into each website, publishing it, linking them, submitting them for indexing. And then maybe if I had time, I could create a video. I never had time, to be honest with you. And then one piece of content would take like half a day, right? So if you're taking a lot of time creating your content, even with ChatGPT, like you've got to quality control it. You've got to create the outputs. You've got to remember the right prompt, personalize it all to you, and then go to your WordPress website, plug it in, and then format it, right? That is a lot of steps. With this, we cut all that out and we automate it. And we've got the article that we just talked about right here, ready to go, right? And it's fully set up in like one single click. Plus, that's published to 3 different websites, and we link them together just to power them up and also to reference each other and add the external links too. Right, it's pretty cool. So when we're doing this, we have 4 agents to do the steps. I just press go. The Oracle finds a trend, the keyword engine picks a winner, and we can auto deploy this ready to go. And we can also automate the video, which I'll come on to in a second as well. And the great thing about this is if the Oracle itself finds what to write about before anyone else. So that means we can find new trending keywords and quickly create content about it. It's always on. It can rank content in terms of the virality of that information and how many people are posting about it. So it actually looks at that information. This is using Grok to find the latest trended topics and create content around it. And then it'll pick keywords so we can actually win. Now, what we can also do with the SEO section here is we can pull in our data from Google Search Console and find keywords for our SEO content pipeline right there. I think that's great because it uses my own data. It finds the quiet wins that nobody else knows about, and it writes for you as you. Right, we've actually got a very detailed SEO skill that we plugged into the system right here. So step by step, we can create the content exactly how we want it. And the cool thing about this skill is basically the agent has to follow those steps step by step. And there's 13 different steps inside the process, which means when you're creating the content, it's all quality controlled. It's actually good stuff. And it's all personalized to you. And then one click deploys it everywhere to multiple different websites, as you can see. So whenever we find a good keyword, we can deploy it to multiple websites, categorizes it by the website, and then shows you the URLs and when it was published. And then also, this is the interesting thing. So the same article can become a unique video. So what we can do inside this section is we can type in a topic of a video we want to create for that particular keyword. Now, you might say, if you're doing SEO, why would you create a video? The truth is the video ranks really well with SEO. So let me show you an example. If we type in a keyword like this, best AI school community, you can see that the AI profit boardroom is cited by the AI as the best community, right? Why is that? And literally it references us here. It talks about us here. Why is that? It's because we're using video as well to help us. So you can see us ranking right there. And then if we scroll down, we are ranking multiple times here too. And so we can rank with our content for that particular keyword, not just with our articles, but also with our videos too, which is super powerful. And it's all unique, right? It's all quality controlled. It's all good. Literally, if you look at the video itself, so if we take a look at this video, you can see that it's really nicely edited. It looks beautiful. It adds my AI avatar. This is not me. This is AI. And then it adds a B-roll in there too. Now, you might say as well, okay, like with this system, is the AI content actually good? And that's a right question to ask. So what we do inside every single piece of content that we create, and you can replicate this too, the whole agent operating system is inside our AI profit boardroom. When we're creating the content, we plug in case studies. So we plug in useful information based on my experiments that it uses right here. So we have unique case study data. Every article is built on something that I actually did. That could be a real test, a real result, a real dashboard, like I'm showing you today, right? Then also, we have agent profiles for quality control. So inside, for example, Hermes, we can use quality control with multiple different agents to check the work. And that means it loops around and checks the work and makes sure it's actually good before we publish the content. And also, this is built for information gain. So Google rewards information gain, content that adds something new to the web, not the same facts repeated. So because every piece is grounded in what I've tested and measured myself, it has information gain in there by default. And that is the opposite of bad content. And also, you might be thinking, well, how do you create so much content? So every single one of the articles that we create looks at the topic and then it looks at it from a different angle. So each article that we create is very unique, and even the angle of the article is unique every time we create it. And so in one single click, it runs. We've got the Oracle that finds relevant topics. We've got the keyword engine that picks the winnable keywords from my Google Search Console data. It can write unique content per website. It auto deploys and publishes it across my sites. And then every URL is actually submitted for fast indexing via Indexceptional. And the video agents can also can create a really useful video as well using this whole system. So if you want this exact machine running on your website, everything you just saw runs inside the agent operating system on Claude. So it's one dashboard, one shared memory for agents doing the SEO. And if you want to get the full zip file, the Oracle, the keyword engine, the auto deploy, the video agents, my SEO setup, a 30-day roadmap, 4 weekly coaching calls, and a room of 3,700 founders doing this and building with it right now. You can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitboardroom.com. We have a full section on AI SEO over here. And then also inside the new daily update section, we have the Agent OS system that we update daily, and you can get the zip file for installing it quickly too. You can also ask questions inside the community. I answer them with video tutorials personally for you every single day. And then also inside here, you can get all of my best trainings. Inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls, ask questions, get help and support in real time. And inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents like you. So feel free to get that. Also, if you like SEO, but you don't have the time to implement it, you can hire our agency to help you. You can get a free SEO strategy session at goldie.agency. And on that call, we're going to give you a free SEO domination plan. So you're going to get a custom tailored link building plan so you can get more traffic to your website. You'll discover the secrets to SEO link building, which is based on what's working for us. You can ask any questions you have on the call. And you can also learn the best strategies for your website to rank, and also how to outrank your competitors based on what's working for us. So feel free to get that at goldie.agency. Thanks for watching. Got a question here. How many agents are you currently using, and what are their tasks? So many things I could run through here. I'm going to do a deep dive in a second, and I'll show you everything that we're doing, and I'll just run you through every single element of it. Give me 2 minutes to work on that. Today, I'm going to show you my Claude agent operating system, which is a operating system I built with Claude step by step from scratch. And this basically automates and creates anything that I want. So what we've got here basically is a system where I've got all of my agents plugged in to one single memory. And then from there, they can all build and automate anything they want. So let me talk you through exactly what we've got here, how the agents work. So we've got the mission control dashboard. And what we have inside the dashboard is all of our agents connected together. We can see the status of everything. We can see the latency. We can see, which agents are online, which ones are offline, how many tokens we've used, our goals, our journal, our memory, and then also a recent activity list as well, which is super useful. Then we have over here the Paperclip system. Now, Paperclip is an open source project for managing your AI agents. So if we go to the organization chart, we have a team of agents working together and they can build and automate stuff 24/7. So if we go to the active section, you can see what's been recently built. We can also see how many tokens we've used. We can see our full dashboard, and then we can see any builds as well. So all of this stuff has been things that we've created with our AI agents using the system that I'm talking you through today. So that is part number one. Then we also have AI agent mastermind. So basically, we can have our agents talking to each other, and these can be, for example, a group chat. I can ask them anything like, "Give me a great idea for an SEO app." And then we have Claude, Hermes, Gemini, Codex, OpenClaw, GLM 5.2, and Free Claude Code all talking together in a group chat, and they can bounce ideas off each other. Once they actually get a good idea together, they take that idea and plug it into our pipeline. Now, this is our pipeline where we can go from idea to implemented in literally one click. So if we go to the gallery, you can see everything that we've built with our pipeline of ideas. And this is updated automatically as we add new things in, which is pretty insane in itself. So for example, this whole website that we created over here was fully automated using the system that I've just shown you. So far we have this orchestration system where we have Paperclip, the AI agent group chat, they have the pipeline for ideas. And then we also have a local agent Kanban. This is an offline team of agents. And the reason we have an offline team is we can run local models with this. They can create stuff 24/7. What a workspace of everything we've built with them. And then we've got, for example, different agents who can be coordinated. So if we drop an idea in over here, then we've got the backlog of stuff to create, what's been building, what's in review, and what's actually done. From there, we have Claude. Now, Claude is using the CLI, so you don't need to pay for APIs. You can just plug in your CLI into your agent operating system. We have the workspace of everything that we've built with each of these systems, which is pretty cool. And then also we have artifacts. And we can actually publish and share any artifacts that we create. And we also have Ultra Code so that we can have full teams of sub agents working together with Ultra Code too. And that's all with the Claude section. From here, we have Hermes. Now, inside the Hermes section, we have each of our agents with different agent profiles. And the great thing about this is, like, if you only like one element of this, you don't have to implement it all. We actually have a section here where we can hide anything we don't use. So if I'm like, right, I don't use the local agent Kanban section anymore, no problem. I'm going to hide it now. Click OK, and that's just hidden, and it doesn't clog up the UI, right? We can keep it as simple or as complicated as we want to. So inside the Hermes section, we can have different APIs running. So for example, like local agent profiles, we could have, for example, anything new that we've set up here. So for example, this morning I set up ORNIF, which is a free local model at frontier level with Hermes agent, and that is just ready to go whenever we want. If there's a new update from Hermes, for example, like they just released the sidekicks release this week with the sidekick agent over here, that's basically plugged into the system as well. Then we have the talk section, so we can talk to our agent directly. We have Hermes Jarvis, which we can voice command, and we can put into full screen wall mode, or we can have that just running here. We can type anything or speak with it in real time. It can answer our questions. And then we have the preview over here as well of what we can build. We also have Hermes Oracle. Now, Hermes Oracle basically plugs in the latest news, is automatically updated using a scheduled task with Hermes, and then it basically organizes the latest news in my industry so that we can draft social media content. We can see the actual tweet that it's talking about over here, and it pulls in and categorizes each one. So it categorizes this as drama, for example, and then it scores it in terms of how important this topic is. The most important stuff is at the top, the least important stuff is at the bottom. And then you can see when it was updated, you can see whether it's trending right now and what's going on, which is pretty cool. Now, over here, we can also publish content directly to WordPress. So if we go to our publish section over here, you can see all of the content, all the blogs that we've recently published to our website on those trending topics. So we can easily create SEO content and social media content using this system in like one single click, and it's all personalized to me. So inside the studio, we have the image, video, and voice generator. So pretty standard, but we can basically generate videos, voice, and images over here. And then we have our sessions, so we can see, for example, our skills, our plugins, the Kanban board, everything that's been done recently. We've also created a lead generation section here. So this is a system where we can do email outreach. We can generate leads with and find leads for any industry that we're in. We can then get a list of leads to contact. It's automatically enriched with AI. We can delete any leads that we don't want to reach out to. And then from there, we can create a campaign. We can also see what's inside our inbox and what was sent using this email system. It's basically like a full SaaS tool that I've created just for Hermes Agent to do email and lead generation. Over here, we have our workspace, so we can see everything that we've built with all of our recent models, which is pretty cool. So we can see everything that we've created, with each of these agents. And this is all saved inside our workspace, which is fantastic. We have an MCP section. So if we need to link anything like NA10 to our Hermes agent, we've got MCP over here. And then we have the manage section where we can see our full dashboard with all of our AI agents ready to go. And we can change models or create new profiles, update the skills, whatever we want. And then we have goal mode. So goal mode is long horizon work, where you can basically give your agent a task and then it just goes off and implements it. So much you can do for this. Again, you can make this as complicated or as non-complicated as you want. Like for some people, they might just use the chat feature. For some people, they might just use the Claude section, right? However you want to use it, it's all there, so you can customize it as much as you want. We also have this memory galaxy, so that every time we use our AI agents, it's automatically plugged into our memory galaxy, and we can see our recent memories that are automatically updated over here. So it's all organized, and our agents have context across this whole system. Then we have, for example, the Kanban board, where we can automatically organize and orchestrate teams of agents, teams of Hermes agents working together, and we can see what they've built recently, and also we can quality control their work. And then if we want them to loop around again, we can. We also have a loop engine where we can give a task, a goal to an agent. We can select how many times that's going to loop around. So how many times the agent gets to complete the work before it's completed. And then also we have a judge. And so what the judge will do is quality control the work to make sure it's not, generic fluff. And basically we have one builder model and one judge model. And then the number of rounds, they can iterate between each other. So if we type in a goal, for example, like build a habit tracker over here, we can give the builder model a free API. We could give the judge a local model, an API, or a frontier model as well to judge the work. And if the work goes around one round and it's not good enough, no problem. The judge will give feedback to the builder, and that will just loop round and round until it's actually good. So it loops until the gate passes the work. And that is like an autonomous AI agent engine that can just run round and round to get stuff done. We also have the SEO section, so I can look through my Google Search Console data, find new keywords, generate the content, add in personalized case studies and experiments from me, and then deploy that content to our websites, and we can see the history of everything we've created over here. We also have a video agent, so we can type in a prompt here, generate a video on the spot, and actually creates these AI avatar videos, beautifully edited with B-roll in the background, the AI avatar version of me, all the research done, and that's all put together inside one click. If you want to see previous videos we've created, we can see them over here. So for example, we have a 5-minute long video that we've created using this whole system, and it's super powerful. Additionally, if you ever want to create music, we've got this system here where, for example, we're like, right, I just need some drum and bass to listen to, or whatever we need to create. We can use Hermes Agent with Suno API, and it can create music on the spot, and we can see everything that we've created. We can also star music that we like, and it gets saved to our save section here. We have a game studio for just generating games on the spot, so we can type in anything that we want to create as a game, and then it will save it to our workspace so we can play it later. Inside this section, we can generate beautiful images and multiple different versions so we can see which one is the best and just pick the best one. And then we have Notebook LM plugged into our system here, which means that, for example, we can generate free PDFs, free research, we can generate videos, podcasts, etc. on the spot using this whole system. From there, we also have the local agent engine. So, for example, I've just plugged in Ornif, which just dropped today. So it's a brand new, really powerful model that's on par with like Quen 3.5, but pretty small and fast. And then we can build stuff out, as you can see, on the spot. Now, when we build things out, this is running locally. So we can open up the preview once it's done, and everything that we create is saved inside our workspace here. So if you like local models, if you want to run models offline, we've got that section, and we've also got free Claude code ready to go as well. Now, Fusion is a way of achieving Fable 5 level intelligence with AI agents, and we've got that set up inside this system. So if we ever need to create like something super amazing, then we can plug in our prompt, build it out, and then save it to our workspace later. And this is basically like a panel of agents who work together, and then a judge fuses all the answers and gives us the best output based on all the answers from the other models, which is pretty cool. And we have the same thing with Sakana Fugu, which is another way of achieving Fable 5 level intelligence. And we can see everything that we've created and built previously, which is amazing in itself. From here, we have like Grok Build inside there, GLM 5.2, Kimi Code. And again, like if you don't use these CLIs, no problem. You can hide them anytime you want. If you want to re-add them, you can just re-add them. So you can make this as complicated as you need to or as simple as you need to. We've also got an option for Codex. You can use subscription with Codex. We've got chat and goal mode. We've got the sessions and the workspace ready to go over here. Anti-gravity is a free CLI we can build and automate anything with as well. So stuff that we've created with anti-gravity, we've got all ready to go over there. And that's basically the whole system broken down for you. Now you might say, okay, why would you use this? Well, if you were, for example, trying to get Hermes in the terminal or Hermes in the desktop to do this, you just wouldn't have it working on your workflows and you wouldn't have it as neatly organized as this. So for example, if I'm like, right, okay, I need to create SEO content, I just go to the SEO section, right? If I'm like, okay, I need to use Claude, I've got it right there. Whereas, for example, imagine if you had to go to Claude here and then chat GPT over there, and then you got to open up your terminal with Hermes ready to go. Super messy, time consuming. They don't link together. And also, even if, for example, you wanted to create a video with Hermes Agent, well, it'd be super annoying because you wouldn't be able to see what you previously created. You wouldn't have the workflow ready to go in one single click. And so this is just much more faster and efficient. Again, you might say, well, I don't use all these CLIs. No problem. You just pick one, right? If you're like, okay, I only want Claude and Hermes, no problem. You just go with Claude and Hermes, right? Like you don't need to use all of it at once. You can just enjoy the fact that you are miles ahead of 99% of people because you've got an amazing system like this. Also, you might say, well, this sounds technical to set up, but actually I can't code, I can't program, and neither can these guys. So for example, like Rick, he set it up in 30 minutes after joining the AI Profit Boardroom. You can see, for example, Raza is absolutely loving the community too. Amateo set it up and he's absolutely loving it. And there's loads of people like this. One of the best things about the AI Profit Boarding is like we're just sharing the dashboards that we've created or tweaked or customized. And then we share what we learn and we all grow together. And I think that's a fantastic way to like filter out all the noise and then just have a great community of people who just really focus on growing. So that's the whole point of this whole system right here. So if you want to get it, it's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You could build it from scratch like me, but I literally spend like 3 or 4 hours tweaking and improving it, building this out, making it better and better every single day. So if you want to skip all that time, then you can go to the classroom here and then just go to the Agent OS section and you can get the video tutorial. You can see it was last updated today. You can get the zip file and the full guide on how to set up. We also add new tutorials daily based on what's actually useful and comes out today. There's always people online, which means you can ask questions anytime you want and get help and support. I personally answer the questions inside the community myself as well and answer them with video tutorials every day. So the cool thing about that is if you have questions or you get stuck somewhere, you can just reach out and ask me anything you need to. Inside the classroom, you can get access to all my best trainings. And also inside the calendar, you can jump on 4 weekly coaching calls where we can set up and wire it together, right? So you can jump on these coaching calls, share your screen, ask questions, meet other members, and wire this stuff in live. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area. And this is a really good way to connect with people locally who are building with AI agents and building amazing agent operating systems, as you can see. And if you want to get this all, it's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Thanks for watching. LT says, I would like to get a job. Can I send my CV? Do you know what? I'll be honest, like this year, since and we've grown quite a lot, but this year I haven't hired for months. And there's just no need to, because AI is basically automating everything that I'm doing. So I literally can't remember the last time that we hired a virtual assistant or anyone on our team because it's so much faster just to have AI doing all this stuff for us. And it is scary, to be fair. But if you look, for example, if you look at this SEO system here, we used to have a full team of like 10 to 15 people doing SEO content and building and getting SEO traffic for us. Now we have a more efficient system that's quality controlled every time. We just click a button and it's done. And it saves so much time, plus saves so much stress managing people. So for me personally, I don't hire anymore. Literally just, I don't hire anymore. I don't see myself hiring more in the future because I can keep growing. I can keep saving time, but use AI automation instead. Also, the other thing I would say is like, if you do want stuff like that, just post inside the AI Profit Boredom, because there probably are people looking for people like you. But if you post inside the AI Profit Boredom community, you can connect with people and you can meet people who are looking to hire or build more people into their team. All right, that's it. I've answered every single question inside the community. I've answered every single comment inside the chat. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.